guys, it's Ricky from Ricky's Pretties. I'm finally back with a new video. I'm sorry. I was gone for a little while. I wasn't able to make videos. It's been a heck of a year this year for me already. I'll just tell you, a few weeks back, my little dog got sick. She's almost 15 and she's just a little tiny Pomeranian. And she was having trouble with her kidneys, and I thought I was going to lose her. She was in the vet for about a week, and the weekend before that I was just taking care of her because she was so sick. And but the vet was, and God, you know, he said that he's got the medicine, but God's the healer, and he said I must have been praying for her really hard, which I was, and all my friends were, and everybody that knows me knows how much I love that little dog. And so everybody was praying for her, and she did make it through. But the day that I got to go pick her up from the vet, I brought her home, and I thought, well, you know, I have two jobs. So my second job I hadn't been able to do because I do that on weekends, and the weekend prior I was at home with her while she was sick. And so I thought, well, I need to go work. And I thought, well, I'm just going to do a couple of jobs, you know, and then I'm going to come back home and spend time with my girl. And, well, that didn't go as planned, because the first job that I did was to an upper level apartment. And then I was going down, I had dropped off the groceries. I do grocery delivery. For those who don't, I don't think I've mentioned that before, but that's what I do for my second job. And I had dropped all the groceries off on the upper level, and I was on my way back down, and the very last step was about 2 inches deeper than the rest of them, and it had a little piece of concrete that jutted out about this far beyond the last step. And when my foot finally did hit the ground, it landed on that concrete part, and my ankle rolled and went, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. You know, on the way down to the concrete, that's what I'm thinking is, oh no, this isn't good. And so, yeah, I rolled my ankle, I sprained it really bad, and I actually broke it. I broke the bone where all the ligaments attached to it. I think it's your fibula or whatever they call it. I broke that bone. So, yeah, I sprained and broke my ankle. And I've been in a boot for a couple of weeks now, and I will be until probably about May 1st. So I've been hobbling around in lots of pain and just not able to make videos. So I appreciate y'all hanging out and waiting for me to create something else. It is feeling a little better now, so yay, we're going to get on with our Easter projects now. And that's what I have for us today. I have a bunny rabbit. I got this at Hobby Lobby. I think it was $3.99. And all of the Easter is 40% off, so I didn't pay very much for this. It's just a little wooden bunny. This had a little spot on it, which I repaired. And then I sanded the whole thing just, you know, just to kind of make sure that it was nice and smooth for our project today. And I've got some Mod Podge. I have some scrap lace. This we're going to make into a little tail for the bunny rabbit to go here. But if you don't have scrap lace that you can do what I'm doing, you can use a cotton ball. You can make a little pom-pom out of some yarn and use that. Anything you want for the tail, you can use. And this I'm going to use just, you know, to put like a little collar on the bunny there. And I have a little blingy bob. This is just a little embellishment that I have. I got this from my friend Debbie at Kiki's sale, and I think that was where I got that from. But anyways, this is going to go on here. And then I got this little doodad also, and I'm going to put this, you know, probably up by her ear somewhere. And then I've got, let's see, if I didn't say Mod Podge, I have Mod Podge. And I've got 3 different colors of material. I will link down where I got everything in the description box below, as always, so that you guys can know where I obtained these items. You don't have to use the same combination of fabrics that I'm using. I've got 3 different corresponding gingham prints here. I've chosen yellow for mine, but you don't have to use it. You don't even have to use coordinating prints. You could use 3 different bright colors if you wanted to. It just depends on how you want your bunny to look. But I've got 3 different fabrics, and I have cut them all up into about 1-inch squares. I've cut you know, obviously not just probably just a little eighth of a yard of fabric, not even that really. I've just cut up some squares, you know, approximately 1 inch. They're not all perfect. They don't have to be, but I've got all 3 of them cut up with some pinking shears, and I've got them in different little containers. And then I have some acrylic paint. This is Dollar Tree. I've never tried this before, so we're going to experiment with this today. This is acrylogy. I don't know how to say that, but it's white. It says multi-purpose, safe, non-toxic, and water soluble. So it's by Rich Art. Got it at Dollar Tree. So we're going to try that and see how it works. And I've got just a little bit of water. And I have some measuring spoons over here. I have a half tablespoon and a tablespoon. I have a sponge dauber. And I've got some E6000 here. I will have a glue gun set up. I have 3 colors of acrylic paint. I have white, dark brown, and blue. And this is thicker than this, so I'm just going to use this probably for painting the eye and whatnot. And I'll need some pink. I didn't set out the pink, but we're going to need some pink because we're going to paint the inside of the bunny's ear, so I'll get that in just a minute. Either red or pink, because we can mix red and white to make pink. And I've got an extra empty little tub here because we're going to be making chalk paint with this. And to do that, you're going to need Plaster of Paris is the easiest and most economical way to make chalk paint. I got this at Lowe's. I think it's about $6, $8, something like that. This will make a ton of chalk paint. And you can do all kinds of stuff with this. So it's great. You can use it for repairing things, plaster walls and ceilings, but you can also use it for crafts, and that's what I use it for. So yeah, this is going to last forever. And so I've got a paintbrush here, and I guess that's pretty much everything here. So I'm going to clear some of this out of the way, and then I'm going to show you how to mix up some chalk paint, and we will get to it. Okay, we're back, and we're ready to mix up our chalk paint. And to make chalk paint, it's a pretty simple formula. It's 3 parts paint to 1 part plaster of Paris. And obviously we're not going to need a whole lot of chalk paint for this rabbit, so I'm just going to mix up a little bit at a time. So I'm going to start by using my half tablespoon here, and I'm going to get a half tablespoon or thereabouts, pretty close, of the plaster of Paris. And then I'm going to mix it with just a small amount of water. Till it all gets mixed together. Till it looks smooth. Okay, and now we're going to get about 3 tablespoons of our acrylic paint. And this is pretty thick, so I'm thinking it's going to work good. You know, it's not rocket science. You're just kind of eyeballing it. You know, as close as what you can get it. That's too... Sorry, my hand's in the way. I know it is. That's probably going to do. And then I'm just going to scoop that out. Set that aside and then mix this all together. Well, I've got my brush. Try not to make a mess with this, but y'all know I'm messy. While I've got my brush, I'm just going to go ahead and go around the outside and inside these ears here. The hard to get places. Just gonna go ahead and get those out of the way. We may need 2 coats of this. Probably will. The brush is gonna make it a little easier to get this paint inside all these little grooves here. I'll try to stay in frame for y'all. And probably what I'm going to do is get one side done and then do the other side off camera so that you don't have to sit through the whole video of watching me paint. You know, I try to keep these videos under an hour if possible. Sometimes they're pretty detailed. It's hard to do that, but you know, we try. I think sitting through an hour video is long enough. I really try to keep them about, you know, 30 to 45 minutes, but 30 minutes hardly ever happens. Seems like. But hopefully y'all enjoy watching these videos, and if you do, leave me a comment, let me know. I try to answer all of the comments you guys leave me in a timely manner. I usually get to them at least within a week or so. After you leave them for me, I try to answer it as promptly, especially I try to check for questions in case y'all are asking me about something I've used, so you don't have to wait for me to answer. But yeah, comments are welcome. If y'all have any ideas, you know, things that, you know, if you try the project and it turns out great, let me know. I'm excited to hear if you guys are actually trying to do some of the things that I've done on my channel. Okay, so I've gone all around the bunny. Now I'm going to switch to my dauber here. My little sponge dauber. And I'm just going to go over it with that. I may only need 1 coat, you know, on the outside here. This side especially, because we're going to be putting some material over this. I'm really just doing it to kind of seal the wood and give our material more to stick to. Plus give it a nice base, you know, so that if there's any place where the material doesn't cover, you know, we've got a nice white bunny. I may only need 1 coat, guys. This is covering pretty well, and it made a lot, so make sure you put it in a container that you can put a lid on, because this will keep, you know, if you've got a lid to put on it, that will stay good. You just have to stir it up. You can put it in a jar, any kind of container that will take a lid. So what I'm going to do now that I've got this side painted is I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. I'm probably going to put another coat around the outside edge, but I don't think that I'm going to need a second coat on this part. We'll see when it gets dry, and then when I come back I'll let you know if I just left it at 1 coat or if I put 2 on there. But for now we're just going to kind of pause the video, and I'll come back in a few minutes when it gets dry and I get all of this done. Okay, so I will return shortly. All right, everybody, we are back, and now we are ready to put some details on our bunny. I did wind up putting 2 coats of the chalk paint front and back, and now we are going to put a couple of features on here. I'm going to get out just not very much of this acrylic paint. We just really need just a little dot of probably each color. I've got brown, I've got a sky blue, and I'm going to mix up some pink. And I'm going to keep a little dab of white. So for the pink, I won't even need very much red. I'm just going to put just a little tiny dot out here. So that's pretty much all I'm going to need. And by a dot, I mean a dot, just a little dot. Teeny tiny dot, okay? And so I've got some paper towels over here. We want to wet our brush. And I have a couple of little skinny brushes. I've got a fine brush here, a fine point, and then I've got a little bit larger point over here. And I'm going to start with the fine point because what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and mix up some pink. I'm just taking this red and I'm putting it in this blob of white here. And that is making our pink. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put, and I might go over this with brown, I don't know, but I'm going to start with pink and I'm going to make a little nose just by making a little line right here. And that's all we need to do for the bunny nose. And then I'm going to make another little line right here for the bunny mouth. And that's really all we need. Okay. And then with the larger brush, and continuing on with the pink, I'm going to put a little dab of water in here just to help it go further. I'm going to paint the pink part of the ear, and I'm just going to kind of keep it, you know, inside 1/4 of an inch or so away from the edge, just following that contour. Does not have to be perfect. Very cute, very cute. Okay, and then I'm going to, acrylics work best if they're a little bit wet, so put another little dab of water. I'm going to do the same thing for this ear down here. I'm just going to follow the contour of that ear and then fill it in. Maybe round that off a little more. Same thing over here. Maybe just even that edge up a little bit and round it off. Okay. White spot in there. I'm going to fill that in a little better. Okay. So now we have bunny ears and a bunny nose. And now we're going to make a bunny eye right about here. And for that, we're going to rinse our brush out. And you could make a brown bunny eye, but I want to make a blue bunny eye. So I'm going to make a blue bunny eye. And what I'm going to do is, let's see, where do I want the eye to go? About right here, I think. I'm going to make a little blue. Semi-round circle. And then put a little corner on the circle. Just like that. So we made basically a circle, and then we just put a little V on the end of it and filled it in to kind of give it an eye shape. Okay, and now what I'm going to do with my finer point brush is I'm going to keep it a little wet. I'm going to dip it in this brown. You could use black, but I just want brown. I don't really want to make it look harsh. And I'm just going to go right over the eye, just like that. See, I just followed the contour of that upper part of the eye. And then we want to give him or her a little pupil. So I'm going to put her a little pupil right there. Just with the soft brown. So just a little circle. Make her look like she's looking forward. And then to give her a little more dimension for her eye, we're going to put a little dot of white right here. There we go. And that makes it look like she's looking forward. And remember I said I may not leave this part just pink. I think I am going to add just a little bit of brown in with that pink. Just to kind of define her mouth a little better. And her little nose. So just a light little streak of brown there. Just to kind of give her a little more depth. Just like that. Okay. Alright. And so now I'm going to let that dry. Because that needs to be dry before you do our next step. And once this gets dry, I'll come back and I'll show you what we're going to do next. We're going to be ready for our material and our Mod Podge in just a few minutes. And you know what? I think instead of doing that, I think what I'm going to do is just set this aside, and while this dries, let's make the bunny tail. No, okay, never mind. Yeah, let's make the bunny tail. Let's do that. I need my glue gun, so give me just a second. I'm going to be back. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. I was kind of all over the place for a second there. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but now I do. Okay, so while our paint dries for our bunny, we're going to work on the tail. And what I've got here is I've got a needle and some light colored thread. And it doesn't really have to match. I've got some cream color. I didn't really have any white, and my lace is white, so but this will work. And we're just going to gather this lace is all we're going to do. So I'm going to start it basically here. And we're just going to run our needle through and gather this lace. Oh. Trying to stay in frame so y'all can see what I'm doing. Hopefully you can. I can't see my camera, so if it's not in frame, it will. I tried. Okay, so now we're just going to run our thread through. And we've got our little gather. I'm not going to pull it like really tight though. I'm just going to leave it about like that. Just, you know, to where it makes a little circle. Kind of like you're making a lace flower, but you're not going to put the ends together. I'm just going to knot it off down here on the end. So you don't need to join your lace ends. Just going to knot it right there. Okay, now we'll see if my glue gun is hot enough. Hopefully it is. I wasn't planning on doing the tail section yet, so I didn't have it, you know, I didn't really have it ready to roll just yet. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this and rolling it up as if it was almost like a little flower, just like that. Let me see. It's getting there. I think it's probably good enough. So I'm going to put a dot of glue here, and I'm going to roll that in. Another dot here. I'm going to roll it in. We're just going to keep putting little dots of glue on here and rolling it up. It's kind of like we're making a lace rose. But it's not a rose, it's a bunny tail. It's a bunny tail. And then we'll secure our end. And there we are. One little lace bunny tail. Isn't that cute? And it's going to go, when we get done, we're going to put it right here. And that's going to be cute, I think. So that's how we made our bunny tail. Okay, I don't think my paint's quite dry just yet, so I'm going to give it just a few more minutes and then we'll come back and work on something else. See y'all in a few. Okay guys, our bunny is pretty well dry, so we are going to go on to the next step. And for this, I would recommend having some popsicle sticks for stirring sticks. This is going to get messy. You will also want a damp paper towel on hand because you will be making a little bit of a mess. So in each one of these containers that I have my 3 separate materials, I'm going to add some Mod Podge. My Mod Podge was super thick, so I have thinned it out with some water because it was just really, really super duper. I couldn't even hardly pour it. It was so thick. Okay, and so with our stirring stick, we're going to stir this Mod Podge into the material. We want every single piece of this material to be wet with the Mod Podge. We want it to be coated. You'll see. Okay, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to stir this batch up. If you need to add more Mod Podge, you can. I kind of go sparingly at first because I don't want to waste it. So I didn't figure it would take too much to get each one of these little pieces of material covered in the Mod Podge. Okay. And now for our third material. Just going to stir it all up. Stir it up. Get it all coated. Okay, and now what we are going to do is we're going to start placing these on our bunny. I'm going to go around the outside first, and for the edges I'm going to do you know, corners in and corner down, just like that. And I'm going to alternate these. Oops, I got two. Save that one for a minute. And the reason you want these completely soaked is because it's going to help you to contour it around the edge of your bunny without it peeling back up. So make sure that your pieces of material are completely wet with the Mod Podge. You may have some little areas that stick up, but the wetter these are, the more likely they are going to stick. And we're just overlapping the edge here. We're not going all the way down, we're just overlapping, that's all we're doing. Kind of smoothing down as we go. Because we're not going to cover this whole edge. We're mainly just going to concentrate on the front of the rabbit. And if some are going on more square than triangle, that's okay. We're just going to put these around. And I'm going to continue working. I'm probably going to speed the video up in a minute through this process because it's going to take me a little while to get it done. Okay, my fingers are absolutely covered in glue, but we're not quite done yet. We do need to go over this with one coat of Mod Podge, so I am going to get my brush out. Where's my bigger brush? We'll use this one because this is what I have, and I don't want to wait and go grab the other one. So I'm just going to kind of go over the ears. Try to stick down any place that didn't stick good. And the eye and the nose, the little face, we want to go over the face. We want to put a generous coat of Mod Podge on all over the bunny rabbit. We want to try to make it a smooth coat because, you know, our fingers have made it kind of messy. Now, once this dries, you're not going to be able to see, you know, all this milkiness. It's going to dry clear and it's going to dry pretty. But we just want a generous coat all over this. I'm not going to put a coat on the back of it. It's not going to need it. And we're going to go over all the little edges around. Anything hanging over we can trim later. And I also am going in here with a little popsicle stick because it's narrow and it's hard to get to. So I'm going to stick things down as best I can. I mean, if there's a little edge poking out, I'm not really going to be mad at it too much because, I mean, it's fabric. You're probably going to have an edge or two, you know, poking out here and there. Adds to the shabby chicness of the project, I think, which is great because I love me some shabby chic. But this is going to be so pretty, partly because, you know, we've got all these different fabrics on here, and partly because once you get your Mod Podge in there, you can't really tell what's the right side and the wrong side of the fabric. So some of it's going to be bright, some of it's going to be more muted in tone, and it's just going to be very beautiful. I think you will see once this gets all dry and you have a chance to see what it's actually going to look like. I think you will really like it. I'm going to go all around this whole edge with the Mod Podge just to make sure those edges are really sealed down good. Especially in here where it's hard to get to. And I know y'all saw me clip the corners on those ears. That's what you'll need to do, you know, to get around that point. You want to clip the little corners of your fabric so that it will mold around those ears better. Just double checking everything to make sure it's smooth. Nothing gooped, gummed, or stuck anywhere. And I don't want any bubbles, so check for bubbles and make sure you don't see bubbles anywhere. When you add water to Mod Podge, sometimes it bubbles. Don't want that. Just really go over it well and make sure that it's all smooth. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave it alone now. I'm gonna go wash this Mod Podge off of my hands, and then we will be back in a little while when this bunny gets all dry, and we will finish her up. Our bunny is dry, and I have lightly sanded her and put on 2 coats of the interior exterior water-based varnish that I like to use. I get this at Hobby Lobby, and any water-based varnish will be just fine. I like the water-based because it doesn't stink as bad as the other kind. And to hang the bunny, all I've done is I've taken a little push pin, thumbtack, whatever you call these, and I've taken a piece of grosgrain ribbon and just made a little loopy and attached it with a thumbtack, and that's going to be our hanger. That was really easy to push in, and if you feel more content, more secure with putting a dab of glue under that, you can. I didn't, but you can do that. And so anyways, that is our, I didn't varnish this side because I didn't want to take a chance on it sticking to the door. This is the chalk paint. It's going to be just fine, just like it is. So I'm not going to worry about that side. But this side's going to be facing outside, so I wanted it to be protected. And now we're just going to apply our embellishments and finish this little gal up. Okay, so we've got our bunny tail, which is going to go here. I have this little collar that I'm going to put on her, so we'll trim that to about right there. And I hope this E6000 will cooperate. It's about to the end of its little lifespan, I think. And I'm not really good about putting the cap back on it properly. So we'll see if it works for us. You can use whatever type of glue you want. I like E6000 because it sticks, and I can move it around a little bit if I need to before it completely sets. But this will stick pretty good, and so I won't have to really worry about it once it dries. So I'm going to put her little collar there. Slightly round it a little bit. There we go. Isn't that cute? Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and apply this little thing. I'm going to, like a brooch. And for this, I am going to put a little dab of hot glue on it as well, just to kind of hold it in place until the E6000 has a chance to dry. That's what I usually do with all of my little embellishments. So I'm going to put this around the outside edge. And then I'm going to put me a dot of glue here, if I can get this glue gun to cooperate. And then I'm just going to set this down right there. Oh, so cute. Okay, now I have a couple of little pieces of, I've got a couple of little flowers. I decided to grab a couple of little more things out of my stash. I've got a little ribbon flower. I already had this one out. And then I've got a little mulberry flower. So just, you know, whatever you've got on hand, whatever blingy thing you have. I also picked out another little piece of scrap lace from my stash. I save everything. And so I'm just going to embellish her right there with the scrap lace. Let's see which is the right. That's the right side. Okay. Lace has a right side and wrong side, and sometimes it's hard to tell just by looking at it which is the right side and which is the wrong side. And I've got my door open, so if my cat comes in or my dog starts barking, y'all are gonna hear that. I forgot to close my door to my craft room, and she may come in here because she knows she's not supposed to be in here. My cat, you know, she's the curious one. My dog will usually just sit by the door, but cat always tries to come in. And she knows she's not supposed to be in here, so I'll get on to her and she'll run back out. But she's, you know, a cat, so she's curious. She's a curious little thing. Okay, now I'm going to put this on right about here. I'm going to use a dot of that and a dot of glue. Then I'm going to stick my mulberry flower up there. Now I've had my glue guns forever and ever. I think this glue gun's probably like it may be 15 years old. I don't know, but it still works, so I still use it. I'm sure there's better ones out there, ones that get hotter, ones that'll, better glue and all of that. But I mean, my philosophy is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why get another one and spend that money when I could spend money on something else, right? No dabble, do ya? Stick that in there. That one, this is aggravating me. Okay, that might be why I need a new one. It's not sticking very well, so I'm going to stick another little spot of hot glue down there and hold it until it sets. There. So pretty. Okay, and our fluffy tail, our little lacy tail is going to go down here on the end. Our little lace rose is going to serve as our tail, and we're just going to stick it down here. I'm going to put a pretty big dot of glue so that'll hold. So stick it down right like that and hold it in place until that sets. I was kind of excited to do this project because it's so easy and fun, messy, and it's going to be so cute. Got a little too much of that E6000 on that side. It's one to squish out. Messy, messy. Okay, isn't that cute? It's so cute. And I'm just going to put a little bow up here by her tail. And then she will be all finished. Put that little rosebud right there. I'm keeping this one pretty simple, guys. You can go all out with it if you want. I mean, you could put as many blingy things on here as you want to do. You could outline her in rhinestone. I mean, there's just all kinds of things that you could do. You could put you know, a rhinestone chain all the way around her if you wanted to do that. But I kind of like the shabby chic look, so I'm leaving these edges just as they are, kind of unfinished and haphazard. But I mean, you could neaten this up. You could do whatever you wanted to. You could paint this. There's all kinds of things that you can do with this project. And like I said, you don't have to use, you know, the coordinating fabrics. You could use like purple, yellow, and blue, you know, just different, you know, you could use one print and a couple of solids, whatever you want to make this. You can just make it your own, make it match your decor. And so once this gets all completely set, I'll go hang it up and I will take a picture of it on the door. I really appreciate you guys for subscribing to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for subscribing. If you've been here with me, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. My little channel is growing and I'm so excited. And I'm glad to be back. You know, my ankle is getting better, thank goodness. And I really enjoyed doing this project, and I hope you find it fun to do also. And I will see you guys next time, okay? Bye-bye.